Crypto media friends, welcome back to another overtime show here in Los Angeles, here at the studio playing my E40 song. Thank you, Snoop Dogg mix track tape. I own the rights because I own the NFT. That's why I play it here on YouTube. They might cancel me for playing this song, though, because they often do this when you try and play anything that's popular music on YouTube. Let's jump in really quick today. I want to get into Bao Society, but also wanted to quickly give you guys a heads up. There's a security breach on MetaMask. I do this live because this stuff happens in the now. And if you are watching this 6 months from now and your wallet's been drained, I apologize. But you need to subscribe to the bell notification so that you get the notification that we go live, because I do this stuff in the moment as it's happening when I find out about it anyway. So as I noticed it in Twitter, especially this morning, a lot of people were talking about, oh gosh, there's this vulnerability, 650,000 was stolen, and they tracked it to a MetaMask vulnerability through iCloud. So if you have an iPhone, they were able to take the seed phrase from the iCloud backup, which I thought was really interesting. And so to disable that, you go to settings on your iPhone. Bloody hell, it's going to take me there. There you go. Settings, profile, iCloud, manage storage backups. So settings, little crazy symbol, profile, your profile, click in iCloud, and then manage storage, and then scroll down for backups, and you should be able to just toggle it off. So that is the sort of thing I just wanted to kick off today, just so that everybody's doing it. And preventing this potential phishing scheme against you and your wallet in MetaMask. Bao Society, I aped in on this one, guys, and this is the thing. Usually, I have a philosophy and these sort of things. Like, oh gosh, it's the team and the roadmap and these sort of things that we talk about here on the channel. But then there's other times where I'm just I'm led by. I think the attempt here at top tier art, and I think this is the attempt here, and it's clear to me. Just look at the way the website's sort of flowing and moving. There's a lot of care here, and they're just so darn cute. So, that's what immediately drew me in. Now, what is the Bao NFT? I think kind of comes down to what drew me further in, and so they believe that they are the first Web3 membership platform for food and beverage. And I think Gary Vee might have a different interpretation of him being the first, especially when it comes to potentially, just having an NFT for specific restaurants in New York City. But here, I think we're looking at a very global perspective. Obviously, this being Bao, perhaps, and the team being seemingly, this is how I came across the project, was from some friends in Singapore, and so they told me this huge Singapore celebrity, was not really a part, but it was a holder, and so I was like, okay, kind of kept going and kept furthering down the rabbit hole, and so they're going to launch on the social platforms, grow the community, mint launch. So that happened. The reveal was yesterday. It was a day delayed because they believed they were going to do the mint or the reveal on the 18th, and they just started seeing very small errors in it happens when you add traits and do this randomly. Sometimes they can overlap in ways that you don't quite feel aesthetically positive about. I did find one still that wasn't quite, perfect. It just was, the traits kind of layered wrongly on top of each other. But it happens, and and certainly, from when a lot of projects, you only get to do this once in terms of the reveal. You only get to reveal once, and if you have a lot of those, it really starts to show that perhaps the team doesn't care, give a crap, and so they took the time, and I think this is okay. And I know it's always disappointing because when you're a holder, you're like, I just want to see my thing now. I was just like, guys, take your time, please. Do it right. And so they're phase 2. They're jumping into staking to get a Bao token. And so this feels very general. Now, here's where I got peaked. So they have a Bao Society app, and now this app is, well, we'll look at the team, but it seems like it's fairly functional. I didn't get a chance to get a hold of it. They're still kind of working out the kinks in beta, and I think they're also worried about perhaps if this gets out to too many people in terms of the actual app, that they are, it's going to be out because there's some sort of verification that needs to be done with the NFT, that you're a holder as well as having the app. And so just giving the sort of the jailbroken app might not be good in terms of document control. So until then, we kind of point at it, and I saw it functional. I think it was Nick NFT. Check out Nick NFT, fun YouTuber, Australian, who got a hold of it because he reached out to the team very early on and was able to get a hold of the app as a selling point. And I think what he also revealed, which again, it was tough for me to actually get a hold of the team to share this type of stuff, because I think they're now looking at just building, and these are all small teams, and I get it, and I have a fair amount of rope that I let out to let them function, because they need to run out and build. And so what I really noticed was, because I'm obsessed right now with AR, is they had an AR mask for the bows. And so I thought, just having these little guys with an AR mask, I was like, if you can just make the mouths move, I'm actually super excited about that. I don't know why. I love AR masks right now, because I think they're if they can get them right, they can allow us to jump into these characters and create characters and expand upon characters. And if we're given the rights to expand on the world and develop IP in a way that at a scale that's never been done before. So they sold out on the 13th, and so held a few days, and then did a reveal. About 35,000 followers on Twitter, and a fairly active Discord. The official collection, let's get into the collection. Floor price is kind of at a tasty 0.07 right now. This is kind of like my sweet spot, I think, for NFTs right now, is kind of that 0.07. I like it because it hasn't tanked like 0.05, and it hasn't really filled out to 0.01 yet. It's going to take some time to get its footing at 0.07, and actually it did go down to 0.05. And let's actually get a live picture of this, because the interesting part is it did climb up from 0.05, and so it's up ostensibly, already from this morning, nearly 50%, because I feel like somebody swept. Look at this. The items out is 802. I'm thinking there's something going on here, because there was I feel like I'm missing 500 bows. Let's take a look at what happened. We either got some significant floor sweep or just a massive delisting. And I think it's a massive delisting, guys. There was something, or something was off on the calculations, because the number outstanding was in the neighborhood of 1,300 as of, I believe, early this morning, if not last night. Now, here's the thing. When you're dropping these collections onto OpenSea, there's a lot of data that gets misinterpreted, and it takes some time for, let's say, this guy's hat to populate, and then for the processing of oh, hey, this is a chef's hat, and it's 3% of the overall in terms of the metadata processing on OpenSea. And so it takes some time, and that's why they partner with Rarity Sniper. The community really pushed to make sure that the rarities got out. This particular, I think they all go like that. And, a lot of people want to come in and they want to establish and understand very quickly what my rares are. Did I pull any good rares? And then drop the commons, and they'd love for that floor to be at at the actual buy price, but it never quite is, and that's why there's a dip always, typically at the end of or at the start of a reveal. And so as people unload their commons, Most have made significant, especially the whale side of things, as well as I think more and more people are catching up to the idea of buying multiples at mint or at pre-reveal, which we talk about a lot here on the show, to get a good sense of the ability to pull a rare. And so just I mean, this Pikachu, man, it was I think it sold at 2 ETH. It was just such a steal. But super amazingly cute. In this collection, it seems like the naked ones, I'm never a fan of the negative traits, the ones that have like no traits, but there's a couple on this collection, and so they're sort of held in high regard in terms of rarity, but I always just fly right past. I don't even include them like in my understanding of the marketplace. I'm just like, if it's a note, and unless it's super clean, but I'm usually not a fan. The sunglasses actually were pretty super rare, which was a bit surprising. I think it was fun because sort of on drop, everyone's kind of going through the rarities and like trying to understand oh gosh, what's rare, and it's clear that the glass skin ones are, or the rainbow barf one is, and so you get a sense of like, okay, those are the rares, and the ninja one, I mean, which is so rad. Super rares, and but it does without the official rarity ranking. I think there was some frustration, and there always is. It's like it's kind of fun, the play of before you find out. But I think the sort of the quick sort of super flippery kind of types just want to like go in there and dump as soon as they can because they're scared the floor is going to slip further and that their commons aren't going to be sold at a price that they want. And so that's the state of NFTs right now, and it's what I do this show for is not for that market, honestly. And so hi, welcome if you do that, fantastic. I'd love for you to check out the show and leave your comments down below about what you're thinking about flipping into, because those are the things that get me into projects that I might not be looking at, and I start looking at the value of the team, and I start looking at the value of the roadmap, and if that team can do the roadmap. And so when you're looking at this idea of having an app, and this app is ostensibly going to be a list of restaurants in your city that participate. It was told to me, by the mods was as dining experiences at non-chain restaurants, progressive dining that is very cool, hip, and can be a good experience. And so I can almost like kind of willing to bet which ones they're going to go for, especially in Los Angeles and New York. But the list will populate onto your phone. You'll have an idea, and I think it'll be more of a sort of a omakase kind of experience where you'll have a chef special, or perhaps maybe even they'll schedule something where the chef will sit down and cook with you, or perhaps talk about the food. So there's an education portion, and we'll sort of go over that I think is very interesting, and I don't know if I'm the biggest foodie in the world, but like I do enjoy food and the culture of food, and sort of the idea of baos, and when you're having dim sum and these sort of family style sort of gatherings. For me, it's there's something about interacting IRL that I think that this project could tap into in a very nice way. And so their goal is to launch the food and beverage partnerships in the app. It seems they can do this. Like, again, they have this functioning beta app, and like they're going to put in all the places that you can go. You should be able to go and eat for free. I don't know if it's if they're going to be super discounty or something. I think they're still figuring that sort of stuff out. But I believe at least the first few sort of things will be free because of just the mint price. They have a fair amount. They made let's see if you did about 4,000 NFTs, and your mint price was at about 0.07. You're looking at $2 million, $2.5 million. So they have now the war chest to try and accomplish some of this stuff. And so when they get into merch, I look away. Short film, and then let the community decide the expansion plans. And for me, the thing that got me interested again was when I saw glimpses of that app, it looked pretty solid. And they also had an AR filter, which you could wear your Bao's head. And again, I sort of begged in the Discord. I was like, please make the mouths move, and if they just follow loosely, I would be so happy to own one of these. And so, staking platform earn Bao by staking your NFT. Apparently, it's like that Bao could then have utility within that restaurant scene and could be seen as something that pays for the meals and the experiences, which gives it some really interesting utility. And again, something that is very sort of on the edge here of IRL experience, and that's why I'm here. This is why I'm sharing it with you guys, because I think that everyone's asking for utility IRL is quite nice. It's something that you get with Bored Apes by having the ape and going to NFT NYC, which is going to be again probably huge and massive. They're going to try to really sort of step on top of everybody else who's been doing big events by proving the strength of a project with an IRL experience. And so, but this is going to be very unique. And again, there's only 4,000 of these guys, so we're dealing with a very limited supply, and that bodes well for when you're dealing with floor price issues. And when you have a limited supply of 4,000 all over the world, ostensibly you can grow that if you're delivering on your roadmap. So empowerment, service giving back, fantastic education. Again, I think it's true that IRLs and food can provide an education culturally, which I think is super fantastic, and you can use that as a gateway towards interaction. And it's something I had a long chat with an artist today. Maybe I should get her on the show one of these days. But in sort of being what she terms as a world citizen, it's so important to understand other cultures before lest you start being judgy, and we as Americans know that. So this team, so Mantau is, it feels like a young team, I'll be honest. When I look at Nightbirds, you sort of see these, just tough VC dudes who've been through the grind. They're like 40 or 50 years old or something like that, and they've had experience, and that's why they were able to bear all this sort of stuff and create a $175 million raise. Now it's probably to 200 some million. So this team does seem young. Mantau, his bio says he was 25 on Discord. Not to blow anybody up, but it says something to me about the level of understanding of duty of care, I think, for customer service, for these things in business that sort of go beyond the academic, or sort of sort of the blindly passionate, to be honest. And so clearly he's passionate and dabbling in new technologies, and so is sort of the seen as sort of the point person when it comes to tech here. And then you have design, and I think if I click on these, I guess if you go to the Discord, you can click on them, or I can take you here to Bao Society, and you can find them. Nice link tree here, as well as they're the only 4 people that they're following, and so these are the team members, and just some of them. One, I think it was Mantau who just started his Twitter, but the rest have been, in Twitter for a while and are established in this space. And so, yeah, it just seems like a well-balanced. I mean, you have product management, I think, is very interesting, along with the data science. And so this is like a really well-balanced team. I would like to see somebody with a bit more marketing. I think you have, tech strategy and operations, And so I feel like this is going to be a really functional tool. And that's why I like a lot of these projects that have this utility, this core group that can execute the utility. I think just, I had this discussion as well today. It's just like, I love these projects because I see the tech and I see the care that they're putting into it. And the other time you have just the pure marketing play where there's like, that was Los Muertos, right, guys? And so like you saw Los Muertos moon like crazy. If you were with us, we did a nice 5X on that, in a couple of days. But, I got out of that position because I looked at how the Discord was behaving. And so they got some amazing lands and I think, they're going to do well. But I wasn't full in, emotionally or anything because there just wasn't a connection, I think, to beyond the marketing, and so it's just like, well, who's going to execute this tech? I think they seem to have a great team, but it's very disparate. They might not know each other. It seemed, they were just pulled together for the purpose of doing this project, and so. Who knows even I don't know the relationships here as well. So, but I can tell there's a balance here in terms of the core development of the tech. And so, that's the thing, is like tech and then marketing. And so when you're leading with one, you really have to have the other and deliver. And I think the marketing side of things, they raise a ton of money. And what I'm seeing a lot of times is then they start reaching out to devs. Then they start developing that team. And it's a disparate team, and sometimes that teamwork doesn't execute well, and doesn't honestly, in this busy as F like a place where Solidity Dev is doing like 7 projects, you don't have any loyalty. So they're going to take the job and they're just going to deliver the bare minimum. They're not going to show up on your Discord. They're not going to be engaged in your community, and I think that hurts a project. And I've seen projects like that end up losing a lot of money, or the founders just ending up taking the money because it gets so beaten down because they're not able to deliver on the roadmap in a way that is satisfying to the holders. And so, but I think when you have, that's the opposite here, is like when you have a great team that can execute and that has and clearly has a really nice aesthetic here, that's super cute and really engaging. When you have that, that's a really strong start. You can just kind of go to work. Now, your holders are going to complain about floor price and all these sort of things, but that's sort of mitigated by their positioning of 4,000 NFTs initially. And I think that's maybe a really smart play on their end, because it's not 10,000. The way to 10,000 is just the floor drops considerably because there's so much supply. And right now we don't have Coinbase NFT, which has started their beta. They're going to be bringing about 5 million-ish people who signed up, but those 5 million-ish are, of course, the 500,000 active wallets at least that are currently at OpenSea. So, essentially, let's say 4 million new people looking at NFTs, and so there's going to be a lot more buyers in this space, hopefully, and that'll help to stimulate. We all hope the NFT market. I know how tough it is sometimes, guys. It's don't let it get to you mentally. I know there's a lot of like these channels with mental health, but please do what's safe for you, and don't leverage too much into these. Hold enough capital to liquid capital to take advantage of opportunities that you think could be interesting, but don't expect the hot flip. I mean, don't expect the Los Muertos, that marketing stuff, unless you're really love the addiction of that marketing stuff. My hope with that project was that they were going to pan out into, because they had already done one of their worlds, but it just seemed that they were just going to buy a bunch more worlds, and they put all their capital into NFT worlds. Now, that could be a great investment for them, but I just didn't see how that was developing the experience better. It was just more of them. Like they bought 35 NFT worlds because they made so much money in that volume, guys. So this Bao Society, I'll bring in more as I get more from the team, but I think it is going to be a while in terms of them putting their head down and getting to work and executing this app with the IRL experiences. But if you are in the Bao Society, let me know. Hit me up in the comments section. Please like, subscribe, and we'd love to connect with you one of these days on one of these experiences.